You want someone that's got your best interests at heart.
I want someone who's ethical.
Attitudes are definitely important.
You want someone you can trust.
And you need a professional.
Every professional needs to know a lot about their client.
The most fulfilling thing is to be confronted with a difficult problem and see it all the way through.
Community in general, I think, is increasingly seeing financial planners as a profession and would expect professional behaviour from them.
I started with AMP back in 1961 when I first started work.
And I don't believe in changing horses just for the sake of it. If you're asking me my relationship with Andrew, I'd certainly class him as a partner and a friend. There's no doubt.
Ethics is the core of being a professional, but ethics is not black and white. Ethics is a very grey area. And so what I see as ethical or unethical behaviour, someone else might see totally different.
It's a constant issue that comes up in how you're relating to patients, relating in an ethical manner, providing them with what you think is the right advice on the evidence that you've got, and not being too swayed by commercial interests or other interests.
With regard to Andrew, we've been very comfortable that he's tremendously honest, his company's honest, and his integrity's of the highest order.
I wouldn't be with them if I didn't feel that way. It's quite nice to know that if I do wish to retire now, I've got the wherewithal to do so.
Without enforcement, ethics will never be top of mind.
It's got to be ingrained into the culture of the professional group, and it's got to be part of the day-to-day thinking.
I try and teach my kids, that driving down the road is more than doing the speed limit or doing above the speed limit just because you won't get caught. It's about doing the right thing.
That's the fine balance that's very, very hard for a financial planner to achieve. He has to comply with the rules, but he has to make sure you understand it.
Those rules and regulations have got to be there for our protection as much as for his own.
One of the hallmarks of professional behaviour is to always be learning.
Developments in the legislative, regulatory environment have been huge.
Sitting up in bed, my wife's reading a book and I might be reading a case or something like that, And you've got to find your interest in it. If you find your interest, then the education follows.
I feel that my planner has an in-depth knowledge that I certainly don't have. I rely on them implicitly.
He knows where we want to go, what we want to achieve over the future, and he makes sure that our plans are dovetailed to suit that requirement.
I've been practising law now for 32 years. One of the first things I can recognise 32 years down the track is that the amount I knew when I left university and what I've now learnt along the way, I'd say 10% when I left university, and the other 90% has been filled by further technical education, life's experiences, the whole gamut, if you like.
So we try as much as possible in medicine, and I'm sure in every other profession, to have an evidence base to the decisions we make, that we've got something that says this works and that doesn't work.
You learn a tremendous amount from the School of Hard Knocks. You also learn a lot from books and from listening and lectures. I don't think you can have one without the other.
We've got a particular strategy as far as my superannuation is concerned, and I'm happy to be following that with their guidance.
We have a thing called a back-of-the-envelope summary, and after we talk, we'd say, now, on the back of an envelope, is this what this plan does for us? And he says yes or no, and we actually photostat that piece of paper that we scribble on, and it goes in the file.
The true substance of a good advisor is this phrase, to act in the best interests of your client.
To know about their hopes and their disappointments, and to know about past tragedies and hopes for the future.
There's no greater joy in life, I think, than when you help someone solve a problem or come up with a solution to a problem that they had, and they are really grateful. That feels so good.
I'm not at this stage certain what I'm going to do in retirement. I'm told I can last until I'm 93. But by the time I'm 93, I'll be a very crusty old man.
In the recent years, since we've been on that pension, just before we went to Canada and Alaska, then came back and we went to Japan, and then we went to Dubai and India and Singapore. If I had to classify my relationship with Andrew, and I use the word magical, you probably wouldn't believe it. But that's the way I look at it. It's been sheer magic, the things that we've been able to achieve between us.